everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another Plan With Me video, and this time this is for my March bullet journal layout. So the Disney movie that I picked for this month is 101 Dalmatians, which just conveniently lines up with the new film that came out for Cruella de Vil. I don't really know how I feel about it. I feel like Emma Stone will do a really good job, but I also don't know if I need to know the origins of Cruella de Vil. Like, I feel like she's the least redeemable Disney villain of all time. Like, she straight up just wants to murder puppies, and that's the entire plot of the movie. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they approach that. I don't know. I just really hope Disney could go back to coming up with original ideas. So when I first started this layout, I was going to try and draw like a whole bunch of Dalmatians together, but that was a little much. So instead I just focused on drawing one big one. So this is Patch here. And then I'm just going over this with my 0.3 fine liner just to outline everything, and then I'll go back and color everything in after the fact. March I just did in block letters and then added some spots for the Dalmatian effect. I have to say, I think the way that this turns out is actually one of my favorite title pages that I've done in a bullet journal so far, but I don't know how I feel as much about the weekly layouts. I'm hoping that they come together a little bit better in the future. It's also been a really long time since I've seen this movie, so I was mostly going off like my memory and just a general dog theme. One of the things about this movie that I really love and has always stuck with me is the meet cute at the beginning, where Pongo basically decides he's like, my human is lonely, I need to find him someone, and then just proceeds to tangle him. I love how I know the dog's names and not the human's names, but proceeds to get him and his future wife all tangled up and then basically drags them into a river. It's just really sweet and adorable to me, and I am just a huge dog person, so I really love that messaging. Yeah, so now I'm just going around and adding some paw prints to the page just to kind of add a little bit of something extra, I guess, to fill in some of those gaps, and then I'm just going back and coloring these in with my Crayola markers. As much as I love my fine liners and my brush pens have a much richer black than my Crayolas are still like my go-to for just simply coloring things in, and using like Copics or Sharpies isn't always the best in these kind of notebooks. Even though the pages are really thick, sometimes you get bleed through, so it's super easy to just be able to go back in with these and add some color. After that, I sent to work on my quote page, and after digging through a bunch of quotes from the movie, I realized there wasn't really anything that stuck out with me, so I decided to go with a more generic quote about dogs in general. So the quote that I'm working on is, "Dogs do speak, but only to those who listen." I actually didn't finish the layout of this page. Part of the problem was I use my phone to film these videos so that I could put together the time lapse, and then I forgot to send the font that I was using to my laptop, so I had a reference. Because essentially what I was trying to do, you'll see here soon, is put a drop shadow underneath, but that didn't exactly work out the way I wanted to, and I'm also not a huge fan of the lettering, so I haven't decided whether I'm going to paint over it and do something else, or if I'm just going to sit down and try and fix the lettering the best that I can. This is one of the things that I do want to talk about with bullet journaling, is because I feel like so much of it is that idea of having it be like Instagram worthy or look like really beautiful and really great. And while I do have some of those things that I have pages that turn out like the March spread that I like absolutely love and I think look really gorgeous, I also have times where like I make mistakes, and I think it's very important to not get beat up about them, or not get beat up if yours doesn't look like someone who's been bullet journaling for like 5 years, and just kind of learn to roll with the punches a little bit and adjust once you find those mistakes. So yeah, here you can see that I've given up, and instead I've moved on to planning out my weeklies. So as you can see here, I just kind of went for a simpler theme. I was kind of doing a bit of Pinterest Googling, looking for simple dog themed ones, and they just kind of had this bold underline with then the number of the day of the week in a paw print next to it. So I'm just putting that together here with, I believe it's my 0.1 fine liner pen. So just every one of those reds is one of the days of the week, and then the paw print has the actual numeric date. And then besides that, in my 1.2 millimeter pen, I add to-dos, and that's kind of where I list everything. The more that I use this layout, the more that I really like it. Instead of like worrying about what days I'm getting certain things done, it's just easier for me to have this overarching to-do list that I can carry throughout the weeks, and then just kind of check off things as they're getting done, and just using less of the space for these like daily specific tasks. So things like when I'm working, or if I have meetings or things like that, I know when they're happening and I can check them off. This is also another thing where I made a mistake. One of the days I was writing out the weeks and I accidentally started with Monday instead of Sunday, which is something that I have a problem with a lot. I don't know if it's because like some of my profs consider the week starting on Monday, but I just added it into the end. It'll throw me off a little bit when I'm on that week, but besides that, it should be pretty useful. At the very end here, I decided that the pages were a little bit plain, so I wanted to go back and add some paw prints just to the corner, just to kind of add to that theme. I don't know why, but some of my paw prints turned out a little bit better than others. Maybe I need to do more research on the shape of dogs' feet, but I kind of like how simple the weeks are. I definitely think I have more than enough room for my to-do list, so I probably could have decorated the pages a little bit more, but you live and you learn. Either way, I'm quite happy with how this theme turned out. So there you have it. I'll just do a flip through here of my March layout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have suggestions for what I should do next month, please leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I will be back with a ton more booktube videos for you guys coming soon. And thanks for taking the time to watch, and please subscribe.